Welcome back. In the aftermath of the Paris attacks, it's becoming clear that as commander-in-chief, the next president will face no tougher task than facing down ISIS and Islamic extremism in general. Joining me now is former Florida governor and our presidential candidate, Jeb Bush. Governor Bush, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Thank you.
Well, let me ask it this way. You heard Ben Rhodes believes we are at war. The French president says we are at war. There's wars that are tactical, and then there's a war against an ideology. How do you defeat an ideology, Governor?
Well, you take it to them in Syria and Iraq. You destroy ISIS, and then you build a coalition to replace this radical Islamic terrorist threat to our country and to Europe and to the region with something that is more peace-loving. We have to be engaged in this. This is not something you can contain. Each day that ISIS exists, it gains new energy and more recruits around the world.
You know, everything is a divide here. There's democracy, there's security and stability. So, for instance, in dealing with ISIS, our coalition partners like Turkey and Saudi Arabia, they care more about getting rid of Assad than they do in dealing with ISIS. Should the United States essentially change its policy and put the pause button on getting rid of Assad?
No, I think we need to do both. You don't see ISIS and Assad fighting each other. The fight is with the remnants of the Syrian Free Army. We need to build that force up. Which is not what's happening. This is viewed as a law enforcement exercise by the Obama administration. We should declare war and harness all of the power that the United States can bring to bear, both diplomatic and military, of course, to be able to take out ISIS. We have the capabilities of doing this. We just haven't shown the will.
What is it that you would like to see the president do? Let's set the campaign aside here. In the next 2 weeks, you want President Obama to do what, Governor?
Declare a no-fly zone over Syria. Directly arm the Peshmerga forces in Iraq, re-engage with the Sunni tribal leaders, embed with the Iraqi military, be able to create safe zones in Syria, garner the support of our European allies and the traditional Arab states. Lead. That's what I want him to do. I want him to lead. He has the capability of doing this. We have the resources to do this. This is a threat to Western civilization, and we should consider it that way.
What do you tell an American public who says, you know what, the Iraq War, Afghanistan, we've had a lot of blood and treasure. Nothing's changed in the Middle East. We had a terrorist threat before 9/11. We now have a terrorist threat now. What policy works? Because we've tried different. We've tried intervention. We've tried toppling dictators. We've tried nation building. None of it has worked. What do you tell the American public?
I tell the American public that a caliphate the size of Indiana garners strength each and every day if it's not taken out. 30 to 40,000 battle-tested soldiers that are organized to destroy our way of life. My heart goes out to the people of Paris, and this will continue on. We have to be in this fight. There is no other option. And this threat can be contained, but more importantly, it'll never die unless it's destroyed. And the policy of containment isn't going to work. And it's a policy of incremental, just kind of running out the clock so the next president has to deal with this. Should I be the president of the United States, I promise you that I will.
Some of your closest advisors, or who you've put on paper, are people that were members of your brother's administration. A foreign policy in the Middle East that essentially the American public rejected in 2008. Why should they trust you to bring back that same foreign policy?
The world is going to be dramatically different in 2017 than it was in 2000. We need to be focused on the future, and this is a threat to Western civilization. There's no way to deny this. This is how they're organized, and containing ISIS isn't going to work. Taking it out, we have the capability of doing it, and the focus ought to be on the future, not the past.
Do you believe that, what do you say to voters that right now they want outsiders, and they don't care that they don't have a lot of experience? Do you think what happened in Paris should change the mindset of the Republican voter, and what's your case to them to make them do that?
Yeah, look, I think as we get closer to the primaries, people are going to know who can sit behind the big desk, who has the judgment and the temperament to lead this country. And if you listen to some of the candidates speaking about Syria, for example, they're all over the map. I laid out a strategy 2 months ago at the Reagan Library, and it's the proper strategy, I think, to be able to destroy ISIS and to have change in the regime related to Assad so that there can be peace and security in the region and lessening the threat to our own national security.
Would you trust Donald Trump or Ben Carson as commander-in-chief right now?
I don't know. The words that I hear them speaking give me some concern. But that's why we have campaigns, Chuck, as you know. Everybody will have a chance to lay out their visions. I'm more concerned about Hillary Clinton thinking that the United States doesn't have a leadership role in this. That's my big concern. If you listen to the Democrats debating.
So you agree with Governor O'Malley?
About what?
About that this is America's leadership role, that this is America's fight more so than it is the world's fight.
It's both. And I think Governor O'Malley probably agrees with me that we need to lead. If he's suggesting that, kudos to him. We need to lead. We cannot lead from behind. We have to take a leadership role to inspire our Arab partners in the European countries, NATO allies, all of them together, create a strategy, act on it, unleash a strategy on ISIS, and we'll be successful.
Let me go to the refugee issue. Do you believe we should still try to accept some of these Syrian refugees? And if not, what do you do with them?
The great majority of refugees need to be safely kept in Syria, which means the safe zones need to be serious. We need to build a coalition that can fight both Assad and ISIS and give people safe haven. I do think we have a responsibility to help with refugees after proper screening, and I think our focus ought to be on the Christians who have no place in Syria anymore. They're being beheaded, they're being executed by both sides, and I think we have a responsibility to help. But ultimately, the best way to deal with refugees is to have a strategy to take out ISIS and Assad and act on that strategy immediately.
It does sound like to do safe zones in Syria, that's going to mean some boots on the ground.
Absolutely, and it ought to be designed by our military without their hands tied. We ought to know exactly what it'll take, and we can't do it alone. I think that's an important lesson from history, but we need to lead. But for the United States, who is going to take the leadership role? I think having a no-fly zone will be an important part of this, and there are many other things that we need to do in concert with our allies.
All right, Governor Bush. Talking to me from Miami this morning. Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and then click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching. Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and then click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.